unconscious mind. I'm going to be showing you how the unconscious mind works and how it affects our everyday lives without us even knowing. This is the physical representation of the conscious mind. She's only aware of 5% of her brain activity. That's because the unconscious mind is in charge of the other 95%. We're completely unaware to its secret workings. So now we're going to be following their everyday lives to see how they interact with each other without us even knowing. The first thing we need to take into account is the fact that the conscious mind is completely unaware of the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is the home of our personalities, spiritualities, and unique things about ourselves. The unconscious mind is more like a computer with programs written into it, or rather, into your DNA. Things like remembering to breathe and blink. It's an information processor completely inaccessible to the conscious mind. The only way we can see the unconscious mind is through fMRI. This is functional magnetic resonance imaging. This is related to MRI, except it works by detecting the blood flow in the brain during different activities. It offers a three-dimensional image of the working brain. For example, it shows us that your unconscious mind is only active during a known activity.
To be honest, I don't know a huge amount about it. I know, though, that the unconscious mind is responsible for the majority of the brain's activity.
I actually don't know much about the unconscious mind.
Not much, really.
Not much, to be honest.
Not a lot.
I am aware that the unconscious mind does affect the everyday life because, as I've said in the last question,
It probably doesn't affect me a lot. Like, I think we're probably aware of like most of our brain stuff like that.
actions that people do are caused by the unconscious mind without you thinking about it.
A little bit.
I'd say that we're aware of around 5 or 10%, like really little.
Most of it.
Under 15%. A small percentage, like not much at all.
30% actually, because I don't use my brain that much. I thought it was like less than 10%.
Like 50%, like when I'm awake.
Probably not all of it. I mean, only a little bit, maybe.
50%.
Is it like 10%? Like 50%?
I don't know, 20%?
What? What? That's a bit of a mind blow, really.
5%? What? Okay.
Well, yeah, in a way, I find it weird that what do I do with the rest, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How? No, it doesn't make sense.
Is the unconscious mind is in charge of the other 95%, and it does it all without you knowing.
So basically, I'm basically doing nothing.
We all have frames of reference that affect the unconscious mind, chances that produce habitual thinking. Every experience you've ever had is rooted into your unconscious mind. For example, why are you really afraid of dogs?
You alerted that you were in danger, so I made a fear of dogs so that you won't put yourself in danger again. Survival is our main goal.
You might think you're scared of dogs because of their sharp teeth, but really, you just had a bad experience when you were little. Sometimes when you have a bad experience or memory, your unconscious mind will block it out because it doesn't like the way you feel when you remember it. This is also a good example of how the unconscious mind is always staying alert and learning from its experiences. For example, a bad memory, being attacked by a dog. This is stored in the unconscious mind. These negative memories are stored and accessed through sweating and anxiety. However, positive memories are stored and sent to the conscious mind when the same actions are repeated. As humans, we process an unimaginable amount of information per second. If we were to leave this all down to the conscious mind, it would freeze like a bad computer. We may not realise it, but we're making decisions every split second. It's also doing something else very important. A third of your brain is committed to your visual aids. For example, the colour of something, the distance away, the depth of the item. The better your eyesight is, the higher your chances of survival. While you're still lying there, your unconscious mind is writing up reports on how far away that glass of water is. Even right now, as you watch this documentary, your unconscious mind is crunching numbers so you can see. We all unconsciously fill in the gaps of the data we receive. For example, when I say, "It's nice to meet you," I bet you can guess what I was trying to say. That's because your unconscious mind is filling in the gaps immediately. You don't even really have to think about it. This also happens when something's written in a funny way. Again, your unconscious mind is filling in the gaps because you can still understand it. This can also happen when you see something that isn't really there. Because your eyes were moving so fast, your brain didn't receive the right data, so it made it up. If our brains didn't do this, it would be like watching a Netflix episode that wouldn't stop buffering. This is also why our memories are so fuzzy. The unconscious mind deletes anything that it doesn't think is important. Or, if it doesn't like the way a memory makes you feel, it will block you from accessing it again. Just like when the unconscious mind was reluctant to share the memory of the vicious dog. Our unconscious minds can do amazing things. Read this sentence. You can still read it, right? This is because our unconscious mind immediately reorganises all the letters so it makes sense to us.
Definitely. I think the environment that you're in kind of changes a lot of things.
Where you're born definitely does, and how you're brought up, I think, probably affects you in the long run.
Yeah, slightly. I mean, if I was in a dark room, I'd feel a lot more gloomy than if I was in a bright room.
Sometimes, yeah. Actually, no, a lot. They affect me a lot.
No.
No.
It depends, like what kind of thing I'm doing.
Yes.
Didn't know that, so that is quite interesting actually. I wouldn't really think that would have anything to do with it.
The way food can... No. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's true?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't at all.
Wow. Never thought of that. I don't know. Never thought of things like that. Yeah. Food is food, like, you eat it.
Like, really?
Really?
Oh my god. Time for an experiment. Today we're going to be putting our lovely volunteers' senses to the test. First of all, they're going to have a lovely meal with candles and lovely cutlery and a beautiful service. Then, a not so nice service with rubbish cutlery and all looking a bit unprofessional. But what they don't know is that we're going to be serving them exactly the same food and see if they think it tastes different. First of all, we need to prepare the food.
Fun is nice because there's lots of candles near it to make it pretty.
It's a bit cold. A little bit cold.
What do you really think about it?
It looks good.
Flavour. I mean, it's got a little bit of like herb on it. So
so I guess it adds a bit of flavour, which makes it
Good.
But I like spaghetti hoops, so it's all good. It's all good.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
I think because it's in like a nice bowl, it makes it taste nicer. Because you just think, you know, nice appearance. Oh, that's gonna be nice, kind of thing. Whereas if it was like not in a fancy bowl, not with candles and everything, you'd just be like, oh, spaghetti hoops.
This one doesn't look as nice because it's not really decorated. It's a bit stale.
Does it taste as nice as the other one?
No.
That's funny, seeing as how we used exactly the same foods. It's funny how little things can convince the unconscious mind that one thing tastes better than another. Even the cat chose the nicer meal. The unconscious mind is pretty biased towards looks.
Oh, it's pretty. It must taste nice.
If you see what I mean.
I wouldn't take that.
I would still keep to my personal opinion. I'll always go on my own brain. I wouldn't trust anyone else's.
It depends really. I mean, it depends on the type of opinion. Like, if it's something to me that's like political, then no. But if it's like an opinion of me again, it's like no. I don't really care what people think of me.
Yes, definitely.
No, I just based on my own personal opinion. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, on a daily basis.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sure.
So just for a moment, let's pretend we live in France. Now, we don't know all the language yet.
There's a sign, but I really want to take some pictures. No, it says not to. Oh well, it's probably just a warning about cows. No, don't. It's a shooting range. Oh, I wish you could hear me sometimes.
See, our unconscious minds have receptive vocabulary, which means if they've seen a word before, they can guess its meaning.
Oh my god!
That's right, we actually have a vast amount of undetected knowledge that's all there because the unconscious mind deems it unimportant for the conscious mind to know about. So you could have a rough understanding of French and not know about it because the unconscious mind deems it unimportant. So the next time you hear that voice in your head, listen. Environmental factors have a huge effect on our unconscious minds. Let me introduce you to the wine experiment done in 2005 by Leonard Mlodinow. You wouldn't think that the type of music playing in the supermarket could affect your choice of wine, but in fact, it affects 70% of shoppers. In an average supermarket, German and French music was played on different days, and the types of wine brought were recorded. On the days French music was played, 74% of the wine brought was French. But on the days German music was played, 72% of the wine brought was German. People were given 3 bottles of wine. 2 bottles of wine had a plain label. The 3rd bottle of wine had a mixtured coloured label. Despite all the wine being the same, the bottle with the mixtured coloured label was the most preferred. Yes, Believe it or not, we are extremely biased towards pretty things.
Social groups. What, like, sort of friends? Like,
yeah.
I think a lot of things can affect it. I think people's personalities obviously can have a big.
How well you get on with everyone. Like, own what interests. Do you have similar interests? You can keep a conversation going quite easily with people you know really well. Yeah.
Like what people are interested in. So.
If you like connect to somebody, you can relate to them somehow.
Friendships and how you feel towards people, I guess.
Personalities. In some cases, colour, maybe age, genders.
Yeah, I wouldn't find that too surprising, to be honest.
Again, yeah, that would be. It's plausible, but it would be a bit. It's hard to sort of get into your brain that that's actually what's going on.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think about it that way if you were in the situation.
If someone's upset or something, it could sort of harm the relationship. Like there isn't as strong a connection.
Didn't know that.
What? No.
Yeah. Reproductive success in women depends on a certain strategy. This is investing in making a small amount of babies with the most strong men they can find.
Has really big muscles. I think he'd look after kids really well. I like that in a man.
This means, with the strong men being capable of looking after a baby, it gives the baby a higher chance of survival. However, this is different with men. Primevally, they would mate with as many women as possible to have the greatest chance of producing offspring. In their unconscious minds, there would be a hierarchy of who gets to mate first. However, with men, they are more attracted to women with wider hips. This is because it makes them more able to carry a child safely. However, surprisingly, men are more attracted to breasts because it comforts them and reminds them of when they were breastfed as a baby. Everything to do with mating boils down to making babies.
Ooh. What nice muscles.
Probably, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Not really, he'll be.
No? No.
No. I like him. They're not bad.
I like to say no, but I think I am kind of. It's like.
Yeah, definitely.
Kinda then, yeah, kinda. Similar.
Then I'd obviously retract what I said and said yes. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
We all have a basic desire to feel good about ourselves. This makes us unconsciously biased towards people with similar traits to us. When we're looking for a mate or a friend, we unconsciously approach people who look like us or act like us. For example, here, the conscious mind thinks she likes him because he has a great sense of humour. However, the unconscious mind knows she only likes him because he has a smile just like her mum. There are so many secrets hidden in the unconscious mind. I've just given you a dip in the pond of what goes on behind closed doors. It's hard to believe that some people don't think it's real, but it is, and it's more a part of you than you could ever imagine.